Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again. Big news, I guess. The Expedition announcement league and everything, and the Battle Royale has come out. I am a bit sick once again. Sorry, immune system sucks, I guess. I just want to go over the trailer, bit of a few talking points for the new league, and as well as that, just showcase you a bit of Battle Royale, how I've been approaching it, and kind of what I think you should be doing in it. So to start with, the Expedition trailer to go forth. Basically a new league that's coming to Path of Exile where we're kind of going out on an expedition and finding some loot because we're with a few dudes that tried to go to this place before and I don't know, their ancestors, lore something. Basically, there's going to be sort of kind of like a Legion, I feel, loot type scenario, maybe an Abyss slash Legion combined. So you will have a bit of time to kind of plan what you want to do with it. Actually, yeah, and then with this as well, kind of a ritual. I'm going to say Abyss Legion ritual combined. So we go to a place, there's going to be a few things to blow up. You choose kind of what rewards, how difficult you want to make a few things, and then blow some stuff up and then fight these enemies and get some rewards. There will be some new boss fights as well. There's some seriously new skills, which, as always, pretty much the highlight of the league for me. But this time around, there's a lot of them, and I think that's by far the most exciting part of the entire reveal and the announcement. But there's also some Battle Royale action, which was 4 or 5 years ago they first gave it to us as an April Fool's. Now they've updated it, and you can play it quite a bit more in depth. So I'll just go over this again real quick. Basically, some of the new skills that they're going to be bringing here are going to be, well, similar to what you've experienced in the past. Let's say some Diablo 2-esque skills. Literally Frozen Orb. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that is definitely Frozen Orb. Will be pretty crazy. Spectral Helix is just blade, not blade, sorry. Very used to the blade prefix. Blessed Hammer. So it's Valve Spectral Throw, but basically just nuttier, better. But yeah, a lot of other stuff. One of the dudes in there resembles Geed, when you like gamble and trade. And basically, when I was watching this entire reveal, I was thinking, man, they are actually trying to compete with the D2 Resurrection, Redemption, can't remember quite what it's called. They're trying to compete with the Diablo 2 update or revamp, whatever, coming in a couple months after this launch. So that's pretty surprising. I didn't think that was anything that they'd actually be thinking about on the horizon at all, but to me this looks like they are going to try and compete with that and basically say, why need to try that out when we've got basically a lot of the coolest shit they have, but then a much more updated game overall. And I kind of feel that. I probably will still try Diablo 2, the whole revamp. It looks kind of fun, but ultimately it's going to be the same game that I know and have loved in the past, and I'm going to just not get that much out of it, I don't think. Because I'll play it for a bit. It'll be cool to see everything updated and revamped, and sure, it'd be awesome to have just better graphics, which is the main thing holding me back from actually playing around with any D2 these days. Just it's so old. But ultimately, I am going to be thinking, why aren't I just making another Path of Exile character when it's a updated, real big game, and there's some stuff I haven't explored there yet. But it will be a little bit of fun. That's my main takeaway from the Diablo 2 stuff, but the skills look amazing. I'm looking forward to quite a lot of them, and that will keep me very busy. League mechanic itself, I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be fun, but that's not usually the thing I can speculate on and care too much about because it's always very ambiguous. So let's just say I thought the big announcement was amazing. There will be nerfs. They're going to try and bring the game back a little bit more in line with how it used to be, whatever that means. And that is to kind of taper back on a bit of the power creep that we've had over the few years. Because you give us new ascendancies, new notables, new gear, new influences, new gems, alt qualities. You get all this shit, and we are constantly ramping, and it does get a bit ridiculous at times. Like, I know this might not affect all the casuals or something, but the information is out there, and you can definitely leech off of our, heavy time investment and still achieve similar results if you really wanted to. But it definitely is getting a bit out of hand, and they want to bring that back just a bit back, so that they're going to nerf a bunch of gems that just do too much damage and aren't that interesting, and hopefully bring back a bit of a slower Path of Exile playstyle, which, to be fair, I think will last for like a week, but then once everyone's got their gear up and running, their meta builds, the new meta figured out, that sort of stuff, I reckon you're still going to be zooming through maps. There was a big flask change announced as well, so not so much more of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5ing, but you can still play that way. But it looks like you might be able to make slightly more impactful decisions with your flasks throughout maps with the way the new system will be. So there's lots to go over here. I'll probably go over it on stream, to be honest, but there's a lot of gems. Overall, I think the entire thing is pretty good. Yes, nerfs and getting weaker is a tough pill to swallow. You play these games to feel powerful. You play these games to crush everything and get bigger and better and all that. But at some point, you do have to take a step back when all we're getting is continuous buffs, new stuff. It might not seem like a buff, because it might nerf a couple of skills, but when they give you the new stuff, the influences, the crafting systems, whatever, overall the game gets severely buffed and stronger, and we walk away just having ridiculous characters of power scale. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. I'm sure there's some new skills to play around with, even as a filthy casual that apparently struggles to get through acts without dying 2,000 times. You'll probably still have thoroughly meta stuff to play and have above and beyond everything else, but some of the new skills might be pretty overpowered as well, and carry you as well. So the other thing, with all of that said, I think the expedition looks pretty good, and the entire patch, step in the right direction, I'd say. Should be a lot of fun. I will now divert my attention to a bit of Royale stuff, just in case you wanted to try this out. So the Battle Royale is their version of the PvP in Rayclast in PoE, and it is a Battle Royale, so up to 100 people enter a big arena, a big map, let's just say. You run around, you kill some monsters, you pick up some loot, you then kill each other, and last man standing wins. So in this scenario, they've also given us a whole new passive tree, reworked some uniques to be usable at lower levels, and reworked some gems to be usable at lower levels as well. I've played around with this for a good few hours now, like 6 or 7 hours, and I've won maybe, I don't know, 10 times, something like that. There are definite differences in power level of certain things. I wonder if this gives us more information to that effect. There are definite like metas or power levels between some gems and some playstyles, and you will see that and notice that as you get into closing circles. The sort of usual customers are going to be around. And in that, I will mention Explosive Arrow, really good right from the start and right till the end. One of the definite strongest points. On the bow front as well, Lightning Arrow is pretty good. It'll go right from level 1 to the end, but it will get outscaled typically by something like an Explosive Arrow. So for the bow stuff, I'd say those are the two main contenders. Then we have, for the melee stuff, Molten Strike combined with Whirling Blades is completely insane. Basically, you just get a Whirling Blades, a Flame Dash, and then you're just whirling around everywhere and occasionally slapping on some damage. As well as that, you can pretty much use any strike skill with this sort of setup, but that one is the easiest to land big hits on, because Molten Strike then does a few balls that drop. You can do some other melee stuff and some bleed. It's harder to get going, and you have to spec into the little passive tree a bit more meticulously to get that going. Blight, I should also mention, one of the most insane things to start with. You get it at level 1, and then it does go all the way to the end game, but it does get outscaled by some of these other things like Explosive Arrow and Molten Strike if you build accordingly. Basically, you need that node in the center of the map. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. In the center of the map of the passives, that will reduce damage taken. So let me see if I actually recorded this. I recorded some of it. The new passive tree, just every single time you level, you get a couple of passive points, and you get to then play around with those points every level, 2 points. So you pretty much get a notable every single level. And this is basically highlighting the bow side of the tree. So what I typically do if I'm doing lightning arrow, explosive arrow is going here, 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 and then getting the chain. And then you can take whatever else you want on top of that. Maybe the flask nodes, maybe the evasion, maybe you want to start taking the blight defensives. That's my bow setup that I just wanted to show you. As far as the melee setup, I'm not sure I actually go over that. I do. My melee setup for Whirling Blades plus Molten Strike is to go straight down here, and then over here to get the Ancestral Call, then the additional range. Then I grab some other stuff, like over here for attack speed and blind, you get the leech into the attack speed and maim, and whatever else you really want. And you can see the playstyle ends up paying off quite dramatically as soon as you get the Ancestral Call, because then you can actually kill lots of things and hit things outside of your range. So you don't really have to be that much of a melee anymore, and you just Whirling Blades on top of stuff. So this character I just slapped together real quick, and we got it through to the end game, and I was like level 10 or something. Basically the circle just gets smaller and smaller, and then ultimately there's no room to move, and whoever wins is the last man standing. I think I didn't pick up anywhere near enough gear on this character, and I was just basically using the default level 1 shit, but I was the person that bum rushed the center the quickest, and that is pretty important to being able to get a lot of the XP for your new passive tree and getting a lot of the good loot. So essentially the strategy is start on the beach, immediately go to one of the huts or the trees, find a box, find a skill. As long as you got a good starting skill like a blight, a molten strike, a lightning arrow, an explosive arrow, whatever, go straight into the center and try and make your way deep into the center to start getting good XP and good loot. And ultimately it should pay off. In this one I ended up losing because I just ran out of flasks. I only had 2 life flasks, and I just wasn't playing this one well enough. As well as that, I just didn't have very solid gear for this one. So honestly, it's kind of terrible that I lost this one, but it's fair enough. It happens. This exact strategy has got me to the win several times now, and unfortunately, this was not one of those times. This guy had a bit better regen and maybe better flask management. Hard to say exactly what it was, but that's what it looked like. So Blight has gotten me plenty of wins, Explosive Arrow plenty of wins, Lightning Arrow plenty of wins, and Molten Strike plenty of wins as well. But I think you can do plenty of different things. It's just about how hard it is to get those up and running. And a lot of those are a lot harder to get up and running because you need a specific gem, a specific support gem, a specific travel, and to get to certain nodes. So that's the difficulty in that, but it is a lot of fun, and it will be back every every weekend, I believe Chris said, for the next few months, as they just fine-tune and see how it goes in general for as an additional game mode. Might stick around permanently. It already, I think, definitely needs a bit of fine-tuning, but that is always going to be the case, I think. In any case, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you're excited for Expedition. Sorry that I'm sick and probably sound like an asshole, but hey, I think this was a big announcement, and I think it looks very good for the future of the game. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.